Welcome to the second DK Q&A. What are we going to be going over today, Natalie?
Today we're going to be going over 6 different questions. We're going over 2 that was last in our previous video, and then 4 that were asked through email or phone calls. But it's going to be, do we ship to the UK, and if so, how much? They use a different shipping address than their billing address? How do you get a tank lift for a 2006 Deluxe? Did that agency help you to get paperwork and IDs to get out of Tijuana without too much hassle? Can I get a tank lift for a M8 Softail? And do I need to change cables or wires when I use handlebar risers, extensions? So Kevin, Bud Irwin asked you, did that agency help you to get paperwork and IDs to get out of Tijuana without too much hassle?
No, that didn't work out at all. They told us that they couldn't help us get any paperwork to get out of the country, that we needed to go to the embassy in Tijuana.
Mm-hmm.
We went up to Tijuana. There is no embassy in Tijuana. The consulate, which is different than the embassy, the consulate moved to Otay Mesa.
Mm-hmm.
And so we did end up going to the consulate in Otay Mesa. They didn't really help us either. So the agency that was supposed to make everything go really smooth that we saw on Friday did not work out. We did end up getting out of the country on Tuesday, but not really from any help that they gave. And there's a video linked below showing us getting out of the country and what we went through to get out of Mexico and back into the U.S.
Okay.
So the next question is for 61 EPSO. How do I get a tank lift for my 2006 Deluxe?
Okay, what you'll need to do is go to our website, www.dkcustomproducts.com. There is a link below. And what you'll do is go to Softail parts, and then you'll scroll down to tank lift. And from when you hit tank lift, you're at our site where you can purchase right there, or you can always call us or email letting us know that you want a tank lift and we can get you taken care of.
Cool. The next question was asked by Charlie. Can I get a tank lift for an M8 Softail? And before you answer that, Natalie, Harley for decades has been putting on the big twins, been putting the tank on the frame so that the edge of the tank shrouds over the top of the engine.
Mm-hmm.
And traps the heat. And we've been making tank lifts for over 10 years now to get that tank up off a little bit higher so it's no longer trapping the heat at the top of the engine. And finally, on the M8 Softails, not the M8 touring bikes, but the M8 Softails, Harley finally has got that tank up off the top of the engine so it's not trapping all that heat, making a very hot engine run even hotter than it needs to. But the question was by Charlie, can I get a tank lift for an M8 Softail?
Okay, Charlie, if you have the M8 Street Bob, we have had some customers use the tank lifts with getting a longer bolt, and that can vary a little bit as far as what size bolt is needed for each year model. But the Street Bob has been the only M8 Softail that has been able to use a tank lift, even with some modifications, like I said, as far as getting your own longer bolt. So Kevin, a question for you is, like you said, on the M8 Softails, Harley's already lifting up the tank a little bit and releasing some of that heat. So why would somebody with the M8 Softail want to do a tank lift?
Well, especially on the Street Bob, which is the only one that the tank lift fits on, it'll stretch it out, make it look a little bit bigger.
Mm-hmm.
It'll also make it easier to access the top of the engine for maintenance. You got 4 plugs up there now.
Mm-hmm.
And of course it makes it easier to clean it. And it just gives it a different look. Just is a nicer look, I think. So,
okay.
What is the next question we have in this week's DK Q&A? Rajesh asked, do you ship to the UK? And if so, how much is it?
Okay, Rajesh, we do. We ship internationally. And in order to get an accurate shipping price, the best thing to do is to add all the items that you're wanting to your cart off the website. And then whenever you scroll down, once you get into your shopping cart and scroll down a little bit, they'll have a shipping quote. You put in your country, or if you live here in the States, you put in the US, then you put in your state, and then your zip code or postal code. And then whenever you hit submit, it'll give you different shipping cost.
Okay, so the next question was asked by Robert. Do I need to change cables when using handlebar riser extensions?
Okay, Robert. Most bikes can do 1.5 inches without having to change or reroute anything. We do always ask that you check and see how much slack you have in your cables and wires. That way you just know exactly how high you can lift the handlebars without having to do any of that. But Kevin, I believe you have a little bit of experience in that area.
Yeah, on my Sporty, I have the mini apes, which are already quite a bit taller than the factory. And then in addition to the mini apes, I have 3-inch riser extensions. So I have the mini apes, which are, 5-6 inches taller than factory, and then another 3 inches with the riser extensions. And I was able to use my factory clutch cable. I did have to reroute it a little, but it's not kinked or bent, and able to use the factory. All the wires, no problem. There's so much extra wires on these bikes stuffed up under the tank, and so you can just get some of that extra wire and use it for the taller handlebars, or when you're using the riser extensions. With the mini apes and the 3-inch extension, I did have to get a different brake line. I did not have to have a different brake line when I had the mini apes and the 1-inch. But my shoulder, because I used the comfort triangle to find out exactly where is most comfortable, and 1-inch riser extensions was not enough. And when I went to the 3-inch riser extensions, I did have to get a different brake line.
Okay.
And that's on my Sporty. On my Softail, I also have riser extensions. And on that, I have the factory wires, and I have 3-inch riser extensions on my Softail. I did not have to change anything. Brake lines, all the wires, clutch cable, didn't have to reroute my clutch cable. Everything factory. But like you said, you're pretty safe if you're factory going with 1.5 inch riser, but over that you definitely want to check.
Right. Just to be on the safe side.
So here's actually a really interesting question. Philip asked, can I use a different shipping address than my billing address?
Philip, short answer, yes, you can. We do have to have your correct billing address for whatever card, and it does require the full address. That's street name, city, zip code, state, all of that. And that's because we do have a secure system just to make sure everybody's safe. Make sure that, somebody didn't steal your card and they want to go buy hundreds and thousands of dollars worth of bike parts. They're not going to be able to do it through us. So we do have a pretty secure system. But yes, whenever you go to checkout, there is a box under your billing address that you can have it shipped to a different address if you wish. That just makes sure that everybody's kind of protected on our website.
So in checkout, you put in your billing address, your complete, accurate billing address. Then you make sure the box is not checked for ship to this address, and then it brings up more fields where you can put in a ship to address.
Correct.
So this is our second ever DK Q&A. We'll be doing another one in a week or two. Please, any questions you have, put them in the comments below, and we will cover those in our next DK Q&A. Also, if you could like the video, we'd appreciate it. Push the thumbs up button. found it interesting, useful, also share it with your friends. It may help them out. What else do we want them to do, Natalie?
Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification bell.
That
That
sums
way
it
you
up.
get notified whenever our next video does come out. And especially if you want to ask a question, make sure you hit that notification bell so that you're notified whenever your video comes out with your answer.
And we'll put a video link below. People who share it with may find some of the information useful. Cool. All right, Dwayne, hopefully you can make a good video out of that.